Welcome back to the Barca Breakdown podcast and YouTube series. I'm Youssef. I'm here with my co-host Adam.
Hey guys.
Today we're going to talk about El Clasico, Barcelona versus Real Madrid, lost 2-1. We are upset, Adam. Let's talk about this. Take it away.
Welcome to the therapy session, guys. I think the biggest thing that makes me upset, Yus, is that after the Valladolid game, right, 2 videos ago, we talked about the fact that, hey, if Real Madrid are going to best us and they're going to beat us and they're going to be better, we'll take the loss. This is a growing year with some new players. You know, it's never good to have that attitude, but hey, it is what it is. Unfortunately, today, we got screwed by VAR on a Dembele penalty call, and at the end of the game on a foul on Braithwaite that should have been a penalty as well. But I digress. It was a very rainy night in Madrid in their B Stadium, right? And as we go into the video, we're going to talk about the lineup, the first half, the second half, and where that leaves us in La Liga. And that, where we start in the lineup, is kind of what's confusing here because, you know, it seems like in the last 2 Clasicos, Zidane has out-tacticked, Koeman, right?
Sure.
And has had the tactics set up better to beat this Barcelona team. And this is, in fact, the first time in 10 years we have lost both Clasicos in one La Liga season. What is confusing about this in particular is that the starting lineup, right, that Koeman chose, if you go back to our Clasico preview video, this was the lineup we wanted. And this is the lineup you would have seen around Twitter, and this is the lineup you would have seen around Instagram and all sorts of social media. Because what we wanted, as well as a lot of people out in the Barca sphere, and what Koeman wanted himself, is we wanted to see Frenkie de Jong in the midfield, right, which means that Griezmann comes out. And, the whole idea behind that was we saw Kroos and Modric and Casemiro do very well against Liverpool, and we wanted, De Jong in the midfield to try and help us counter them tit for tat. Right, and so as we look at the starting lineup, it was Lenglet, Araujo, Mingueza, then it was Dest, Pedri, Busquets, De Jong, Alba, and then Messi and Dembele up front. Right?
Which is our 3-5-2.
Exactly, and, I think one of the things that he did right here was he did not risk Gerard Piqué, who had to have some injections to be ready for the match, and he decided, let's not risk him, let's put in Araujo in, who had a good shift, right, Yus? So looking at that lineup and, the way we had thought that this might go, what did you think about how Koeman set up the team?
Okay, I want to start in the back with Araujo, right? You mentioned him and how he came out today. I think it was a good choice for 2 reasons. I think that he provides a little bit of bully power. He's a big guy. He can get in there. He can get some headers, snuff some passes out. And on top of that, I think he's proven to do a little better on set pieces. So that is great for me. Mingueza is doing great for us. I love that he started his first El Clasico with a goal. But we move into the midfield, like you were saying. Frenkie de Jong is in the midfield. I was hoping that he would come out, provide way more creativity. He scored 6 goals this season, 6 assists this season. But where was that today, right? I saw him not really be able to create much today. But to continue on, Busquets has done really well. He's shown to create, in the last few games. He's made some great passes. Pedri's generally been a lot better. A lot of connections with Messi, opening up the ball, great passing, which I didn't think I saw today. And then Alba scoring recently, assisting, crossing, right? All these things that we've been talking about in our previous podcasts, previous YouTube videos, we saw all of that. We thought this would translate over even after the international break, even though we saw that in Valladolid, that it was crumbling a little bit. But at the same time, I thought that was just a little warm-up, which I thought would roll over into Real Madrid. But I didn't see that happen, right? Looking forward.
I know you.
But I'm upset.
I think I understand, and I think all of us are. And I think the one thing we were expecting is going into this game that, when you take Griezmann out, that means you have Dembele up as a center forward, which in hindsight, hindsight is always 20/20. Doesn't work as well because, Dembele as a lone striker up front when Messi's coming back to try and help the midfield and create leaves him really isolated, right? And, in a game like this where you evaluate the players, especially in that first half, and you say no one performed well, I think what you have to think is that we didn't perform well in large part because Zidane set up his team and had the tactics better than we did, right? And so, the big issue here is that, like you were saying, Alba and Dest got frozen out on the flanks, right? Valverde did a great job of, stifling Alba on the flanks, and he also did a great job going forward, as we saw in that first goal. And then on the right side, Mendy had Dest defended pretty well, right? Unfortunately, we did see Dest come out with a lackluster game, which is why he was subbed off after that first half. And, part of the other players who we might, getting a lot of criticism, right, is Dembele, for instance, right? And, in that first half, what we saw was he didn't have a chance to really get on the ball. He missed one, ball in the penalty box that he probably could have hit in. But for the most part, he was frozen out. And, when we think about that first half, it was all Real Madrid, right? The first goal, some bad errors on our part.
Oh.
Alba went up to try and perform a very aggressive defensive move. Unfortunately, he got
burned.
He airballed. Yeah, he got burned. And then, there was a cross into Benzema where Araujo maybe could have done a better job to cut it off. And Benzema went near post, the only spot he could go to get the ball past Ter Stegen, right? I know you're a big Ter Stegen fan, but even after that goal, you had some thoughts about him.
From the perspective as I watched the ball go in, I saw Benzema receive it, right? Where else could he have placed that ball? There was no other spot. He's turned away from goal. If he's going to backheel it, it's either to another player, which I didn't think that was going to happen, or into goal in the corner.
The near post.
Yeah, the near post, sorry. Ter Stegen was already in that side. He was already ready. He expected something to happen, right? Why is he not reacting on the ball fast enough, right? We've seen time and time again, and I love Ter Stegen in general, but we've seen time and time again, he's not making these big stops. Especially in big games. Real Madrid today was a huge game that we could not allow for these goals to just slide in, right? Even the second goal, before we, I don't want to get too far forward here, but even the second goal was something that Ter Stegen couldn't even help, right? It came off from a Kroos free kick, off of Dest. Alba in the box, couldn't stop it, reacted too late, off his head, into the goal.
That one, you can't blame Stegen, right?
Exactly.
That one was, unfortunately, Dest maybe could have done a better job blocking it, and then Alba, unfortunately,
two mistakes for goals.
His head was there, but he couldn't clear it out.
Sure.
But you're right. On that first goal, Ter Stegen left a lot to be desired. And something, right as the match began, we were talking about Ter Stegen. You said this to me. He said, Adam, Ter Stegen's really good at making the saves you expect him to make. But when there are saves that might, push him a little bit, he's having a hard time making them. And, in the second half, he got a good save, right, on a little bending ball that could have gone in. And so, overall, he has not been playing in the big games to the level we are hoping, right?
Sure.
Besides that, in the first half, we weren't really able to create much. Like you said, I think the big issue that all of us had is the players were really slow on the ball. And I think the reason why they were slow on the ball is, one, a lot of them are very young and inexperienced and not ready for this type of game, right? Dest, Pedri, Frenkie and Dembele are young too.
Sure.
Let's not forget that, right? The second thing is I think Alba and Dest were scared because what they knew is the Real Madrid game plan the whole time was, and we all knew this coming into the game, let's get some long balls to Vinicius, let's have him run at the defense and then cross it to Benzema and hopefully score, right? Throw in Valverde in there on offense, maybe Modric or Kroos comes into the box. But when you're playing constantly afraid of a counterattack, you get hesitant and you don't want to make the quick passes you might make otherwise because you're afraid of them pushing forward at you. And this is the big thing is I think in that first half where Real Madrid were just simply the better team. We played reactively, not proactively. It didn't seem like we had a game plan that was putting us in the place to win. And it didn't seem like we had the game plan that was going to unlock against their defense. And so we just, we tried to go through the middle, and Kroos, Modric, and Casemiro are there.
Let's talk about that. Proactive and reactive, right? How many times did we see Messi receive the ball in the middle and get snuffed out? 3 defenders swarm in. There's nobody open on the wings, right? That in itself, that if we're talking about reactionary, we should react to that. That shouldn't be the same play over and over and over. We should see Messi, if we know he's getting crowded, we should open up possibilities for him. Maybe we bring someone closer to, 1-2 with him.
Sure.
We've seen Pedri make those connections. We've seen other players make those connections. Why didn't we see it today? Why was that not happening, right?
Well, it's because we didn't have the threat on the wide angles, right? And, this is the whole confusing part is that, for years we've been asking for a winger. We have that in Ousmane Dembele. And in the big games, we've always seen what happens is teams, they gang up on Messi in the middle. He can't make outlet passes. And then we have no threat on the wide sides from anybody but Jordi Alba. And then, we leave these games, we lose by 1 or 2 goals, and we wonder what happened, right?
Sure.
And so this game, we come into another big game, and it seems like Koeman got outmatched. And, the real issue here is that Dembele wasn't put on to do anything effective. And, Dembele is a dynamic player. I know he gets a lot of crap.
He's also not a striker, and he's placed in the front.
Yep, he's a winger, and he gets a lot of crap for not finishing. But, sometimes in games like this, I think you have to be wondering if it is the coach not putting him in a good spot. Sure. Although every player in this game could have done better, for sure. As we go into the second half, the great thing that happened and if you go back to my Clasico episode, the one we did it without use, you'll see what I said, is that the error in that first Clasico was Koeman did not make any subs till the 80th minute. Here, Koeman did exactly what I wanted to see him do. He put in Griezmann for Dest at the 45 minutes, didn't wait any longer, and he even had Ilaix warming up in that 35th minute, right?
For sure.
Yeah, and so Griezmann came on, and immediately he had an impact, right? He had there was a nice cross in that he almost headed into the goal just wide. He could have put that one away, but I was happy to see Koeman make a change early on.
I agree with you completely. I think, him watching the first half and knowing that there was nothing going right for us, I applaud him for making those decisions. We roll into that second half, and we looked like we turned on a bit, right? We were making some more crosses. That's where we got the goal from Alba, crossing it over into the box.
Griezmann had a nice dummy.
Yeah, for sure. Great dummy by Griezmann. Mingueza, right? The player we've been discussing, previously how good he's been doing, he puts one away. That, I thought, was going to be the turning point, which it pretty much was at the end of the day. But Mingueza puts this beautiful shot in. Messi's pumped. It's raining really hard. It's cloudy. Everybody's having a hard time. I totally get that.
And then we're just sitting there, where's the goal, right?
I know.
And so, the second half plays out where we're trying to attack a lot. We're making some changes, right? There were some other changes that Koeman did that were interesting, right? Because when he put in Griezmann for Dest, we kind of went to a 4-3-3.
Sure.
He switched off Busquets for Sergio Roberto.
Yes.
He put on Trincao.
Which we were shocked at.
Yes. Sergio Roberto coming in for the first time in a while in the Clasico. A little bit shocking. He put on Trincao. He put on Braithwaite, which was a good substitution. And we were chasing that whole half. It should be said that Real Madrid had some chances there to score as well, right?
Yes.
They had a breakaway with Vinicius where I thought he should have put one away. And we were really fighting into it. And then around the 70th minute, Zidane made some changes to put in Marcelo, to put in Asensio, to take off, Benzema and Vinicius. And he seemed to have made the changes enough to keep that 2-1 scoreline, right?
He prevented us from scoring. They had the defense kicking the ball out, wasting a lot of time. We even saw a red card come out. That took a few minutes off the clock.
Oh, yes. Right? Okay, if you're going to talk about the red card, let's get into it. We got screwed, guys. I'm going to be honest here. You don't want to complain about the refs, but there was a clear foul on Dembele in the box that should have been called a penalty, right? And then in the 85th plus minute, Braithwaite is running towards the ball in the box. He gets pulled by both hands by Mendy and goes down. Here's the thing, Yus. I can understand people who have this fictitious idea in their mind that there needs to be a higher bar for a foul in the box because it gives a penalty. That's not the case, right? If a player is grabbed by his arm with two hands anywhere on the field, that is a foul. Yeah. And why this did not go to VAR, no one knows. Why the Dembele call didn't go to VAR, no one knows. And so, my blood's boiling not only because Koeman should have had us better prepared for that first half with a better plan, but I feel like we got screwed by VAR, Yus.
Sure. But let's not all chalk it up to VAR, right? I mean, I agree with you.
Take ownership.
100%. I agree with you. There should have been calls that weren't called. I think there's inconsistent calls on VAR and refereeing. But at the end of the day, did we come out and perform the way we thought we should have?
No.
All of the times we've been talking about how many positive things have leading up to this moment, right? It's kind of like we just crashed somewhere. We didn't have all the pieces. We've been struggling to score in Valladolid game. We struggled to score in Valladolid, and we saw that roll over today, right? We scored one goal. Okay, great. But were we doing it to, we had Messi do a corner, hit off the post. Wonderful shot, but that's not enough. We shouldn't be relying on these things to score.
Yeah, that's not a high enough opportunity chance for 100%. Us to be relying on. And I think you're right. Like, it felt a lot like that first Clasico where, especially in the second half, I thought we were the better team. But, what does it really mean if you're the better team and not taking these chances and winning? Ilaix at the end of the game, very last kick of the ball, had a chance to score. Unfortunately, hit off the post. We were screaming.
I yelled.
I could tell. Yus was his blood was boiling. And so we can cry about VAR. We can cry about the fact that the refs don't seem to want Barcelona to win the league. But at the end of the day, you can't just say, oh, we had a good second half, they had a good first half, let's call it a wash. Their second half was much better than our first half. And
what really matters is goals.
Yeah.
Are we putting the ball in the back of the net?
And
right?
we're not, right?
Yeah.
And this is kind of a big segue into, the thing we've been every time this season where we go into a game that we think we should have won or we think we should have gotten points, it's always because we're not converting enough chances, and that's because we need a striker, right? We need Haaland, we need Harry Kane, we need someone up front to help us score goals. And, you talk about Griezmann coming on in the second half, and he had some moments. He had that dummy. He almost scored in a header. That's not enough for someone who's worth so much money.
Sure. Why is he not taking shots on goal, right? That was one thing I want to talk about is the fact that how many chances did we see balls go by? And I said, why didn't he take that shot?
Yeah.
How many times have we talked about if we shoot the ball more often, how many chances do we have for a second rebound, for the goalie? I saw a few times ball went towards Courtois, he kind of batted away, right? Or if the ball comes off the post, we need to take those shots. I saw Alba should have taken a shot. Dembele should have taken a shot. Maybe Frenkie should have taken a shot. All these times I'm saying, why are we not shooting? Why are we so hesitant? Why aren't we, this? Why aren't we that? It is very upsetting to see, such high caliber players worth a lot of money, not taking these opportunities, not stepping up.
Yep. And, I think a few other things that should be said, right? Courtois had a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Messi, by his standards, you guys know I'm a Messi stan, was not up to his normal caliber, especially his free kicks, right? Messi has not been really great on free kicks for over a year now, I would say.
After a streak of scoring consistent free kicks.
Yeah, I mean, that was probably, too high, and then now we're too low.
100%.
And so you can't expect him to score all the time, but way too many free kicks went into the wall that we would clown Ronaldo on, if we were watching the Juventus game. And so, okay, let's take a breath, Hughes. Let's have a moment of silence for the rest of the season. All right, guys, let's get it. Here's the thing, okay? We're 1 point behind Real Madrid, right? We're 1 point behind Atletico.
Yes.
Atletico have a game in hand. We have 8 games left, right? Ramos and Varane are still gone. Looks like Nacho might have gotten injured. Real Madrid are still in the Champions League, so they might be focusing more
still have
their
a second
effort.
leg.
They might focus more of their effort for the Champions League. And so,
also
we have
consider Atletico. Suarez is hurt. Felix is hurt.
Yep.
Both are out.
We have 8 games left here. We need to win them all, right? Which is tough. And, I have a bad feeling that what we're experiencing is the same thing that screwed us out of a league title last season, which is that if you remember last season, we were leading, we were doing really decent, and then the COVID break happened. We come back, Real Madrid just basically wins out and wins the league.
Sure.
This season, we're doing really well. We're on a torrid pace. This is our first league loss of the 2021 year. And then we have the international break and we come out soft, right? And so I'm really hoping that Madrid and Atletico drop more points. I mean, if you look at it, right, Real Madrid has 20 wins and 10 draws or losses. So they're dropping a point 2-1, right? So with 8 games left, you expect them to lose or draw at least 2 to 3 more games. And so we need to come out big. And a week from today, we have the Copa del Rey final against Bilbao.
Do you think that, you've mentioned this before in previous podcasts, that a lot of teams come out and play against FC Barcelona with everything they have.
Yep.
Do you think Real Madrid did that today, and do you think that will affect them down the road, including
Oh, I think so, man.
Right.
They have Villarreal. They have Getafe coming up. They have an away game against Bilbao that should be hard. And I do think there's always teams want to come out big against Barca and Real, and I especially think if Real Madrid are leading in La Liga, that gives them an extra edge. I know these are the type of intangibles that you can't really quantify, or they're professional players.
Sure.
All these teams are coming out to win every game. I do think there's that little more oomph when Real Madrid are leading the league and they have a chance to spoil it. So I think all we can do is sit back, pray that everything comes together and we win. We'll probably do a podcast before the Copa del Rey final to kind of give you our thoughts on where everything is. Thank you guys so much for listening to our podcast. We hope this helped you vent. We hope you help us vent. Go in the comments. Let us know what you thought about this game. Let us know your predictions for the Bilbao game. Please click subscribe. Please like us. Please comment like us, but also like our YouTube channel. If you're
share it with your friends.
If you're listening on podcasts, come on YouTube and subscribe to us. And share it with any of your friends who like Barca. We're really trying to put some energy behind this year. Thank you guys so much, and we hope you have a great day.
Thanks, guys.